It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and a piercer talk about some of the more common things that those that collect tattoos and piercings and might have something to do with it like to ask about. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo in the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. This episode, we're going to ask the question, are tattoos and piercings still cool? But before we get to that, let's talk about who's here. We're going to go the other direction because we always go this direction. We're going to go this direction this time. Over to my left is Brent, Starr, tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen. I'm DaVo, body piercer and owner and operator of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. To my right is Jack Lowe, owner, operator of the Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the tattoo of tattooing at the Skin Kitchen Tattoo.
I like that, yep.
And then we have over there Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen. So, are tattoos still cool?
Depends on who's
piercings.
No, I was kidding.
Well,
Yeah.
It's pretty mainstream. So.
well, I don't know if I ever gave a shit,
Yeah.
but I think that tattoos are to a level now where they are a part of our culture. There's 20-somethings and probably 30-something, year olds maybe, that grew up with heavily tattooed parents. There's a large number of,
Most of the millennials.
Right. So they grew up not having any kind of built-in bias or, maybe even bias towards that's normal more than it's not normal, than that's
that stigma wasn't there.
So I think it's to a point now where it's not a matter of if you do or don't. It's assumed either you do or you will.
Yeah.
And it's more about what do you got? It's you get tattooed now.
Yeah.
In America as a young adult, you get tattooed.
It's a rite of passage.
Mm-hmm. And of course that's not everyone, but I'm talking the
majority.
From my perspective and from what I've seen, it's so normal now for an 18-year-old or a soon-to-be 18-year-old come in and have their sleeve planned out. Mm-hmm. And they've had it planned out since they were 10, and have been kind of, adjusting it along the way. So I sure fucking didn't.
No.
And I knew a lot of people growing up, and I didn't know anybody who did,
right.
But now tattooing is such a ingrained in a part of our culture, although it be an infantile part of our culture, it still is.
Yeah.
And I can't, it's not a pair of jeans. You can't take it off. It doesn't just come in as fashion, out of fashion. Once you got one, you got one. And you're in the club whether you like it or not. So when kids grow up and both of their parents are in the club and, hey, look, all of mom and dad's friends are in that club, I guess I don't want to be. No, of course you do. Of course you do.
Right.
There's always us that don't.
I mean,
well, and there's that counterculture. There's always going to be a counterculture just for the sake of it, like anything. So there's always going to be that. But I think that it's ingrained in enough. It's throughout. I tattoo religious symbolism on religious people, and I tattoo demon symbolism on anti-religious people. So it's permeated enough avenues and enough cultures inside of our main culture that it's accepted almost around all cultures.
Almost monoculture.
Yeah, and in that they all relate to each other. So, hey, tattooing is a way to cross these dumb boundaries and go, hey, man, you at least show me that you believe in something and can stick to a decision. You cross that barrier without me saying hi. Yep. So right there, we're brothers. We have a common thing,
common ground.
And I think it's to that because you can go to many countries and be a very heavily tattooed person and see another heavily tattooed person, and there's still that link.
Yeah. What other kind of media or way to display your passion or who you are than to mark up your skin with that?
Yeah, you both
there's no other monocultural thing that really
is kind of close to it.
Well, yeah.
Well,
sure,
but piercing is less statement.
But you're part of this industry too, so
and I guess
it's less statement oriented. It's more aesthetic.
it
can be, yeah.
In the same vein, yeah.
It's same thing with tattoos.
You share that, you might not have the same belief systems or whatever, but you still share that.
You both went through the same experience to get it.
Exactly.
And I think that shows that because more people have gotten tattooed in all these different areas of life and however you want to divide ourselves, it shows that we're more common and relate better than we thought we did.
Yeah.
We can see that, man, I don't understand or really agree with what you do, but I know you feel it like I feel what I feel, because you were, capable and able and willing to do this and decorate your body until you die and after to show your passion of something. So, we have more commonality in that, and it means something to people that are heavily tattooed, that to where, hey, bro, I don't want to hurt you. You're me. I like black, you like white, I like green, you like red, whatever it is. But man, we got that. So we got more than we think.
So
Still
it creates,
relatable.
It creates community and thus creates empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's always the downside because there's members of every community that feel that they want to be special and keep people out instead of inviting and sharing. So that goes with any walk of life, really. And tattoo is no different. It's a very sacred thing, and there are people that are in it and feel very blessed and very comforted in that and don't want that to change.
Right.
For me, yes, it's still cool. It's partly because there are certain things in Western society, especially, that in any culture, I believe, that you establish that's cool.
Yeah.
Just like, for the most part, black leather jacket, jeans, tennis shoes,
cool
T-shirt. We have for the last, 75 years or so determined that's cool. Now, over time, it's a different brand of jeans. It's a different type of tennis shoes.
There's some variation.
It's just a slight variation.
Because why?
Shift.
Because I'm different or better, maybe?
Yeah, whatever.
Everybody wants to compartmentalize.
It looks good.
Yeah.
There's that part of it.
But everybody's got individual taste,
But it does
Fashion
it does show commitment in kind of a change or a standoutness.
Tattoo is above fashion. Not to say that people get tattooed for fashion, but tattoo rises above fashion because you can't take it off like a pair of jeans.
Exactly.
It is you. It is you. You don't see it when you get out of the shower anymore. Because why? Because it is you.
It is.
It's not. It doesn't not belong. It's who you are. And so that's why you can compare it, but it doesn't. I don't think it's affected by the same.
It's not the same thing. I was just trying to use it. as a
I'm not saying you're wrong.
In the standpoint of what people get tattooed.
Yeah.
Right.
What designs work? What style is hip? What type? Even how they're grouped or how how their flow on the body. That is what shifts.
Yeah, the variations in it changes, but the fact that you're still tattooed. That underlying baseline of tattooing, you're still in the club, you're still cool, you know what I mean?
I mean, me where I live and tattoo, I first 20 years of my career, I don't think I ever had a young person, 18, 20, whatever, in my chair getting a tattoo explaining and talking about what the rest of their sleeve is going to be.
Yeah, they really started to think it out.
They're like, just getting that right there, hey, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Really, if it was below the elbow,
that was a commitment.
I mean, not to mention the hand. That was a freaking unicorn. Depending on the areas you're in, I guess. But
job stoppers.
But now, heck, sometimes first tattoo, man, right there. I just turned 18 yesterday, and it's not even. There's no thought or consideration about the things that we did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, like the size change too. That's another thing. It's like 20 years ago, it was like little Tasmanian devil or whatever.
Playing card,
armbands.
But I don't know. At least when I look on the internet, I look at kids like in their 20s. That seems to be really popular now.
What's that?
The individual little
coming back.
Yeah, it's just like bell bottoms.
Back into vogue again.
Yeah. You think ear stretching will come back, like in piercing?
Yes and no, because I think the reason why it got so popular and people were willing to do it is they thought of it as a temporary thing. And now the cat's out of the bag. It isn't a temporary thing.
That's a good point.
No.
Yeah, we've seen the results. We've been able to do the research now, and that's a bigger commitment than you might have thought.
Gotta get your earlobes clipped and all that stuff.
Because part of it's your parents is the parents of these kids, because most of them were doing it when they were like 14, 15.
Yeah, they grew up seeing dad's ears look weird, and they're like, nah, fuck that.
And their parents were like, oh, it's just a piercing. Because I get that attitude even today when people come in. Well, we're going to let him do all this stuff while he's young and crazy, because it's not, when he gets older, he's not going to like it.
At least it's not a tattoo.
Or they.
Right.
And see,
it's not permanent.
Yeah. And there was a lot of attitude towards that, even though I would tell every one of these kids, it's like, when you get up to about 2 gauge, it don't go back.
It don't go away.
Right.
It's going to cost you money. And the I guess the advantage or the flip of that is now it's gotten to the point where that surgery was so common, it's gotten a lot cheaper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I don't know if that'll ever. And see, with piercing, it's really usually it's a shift of the area, or a shift of the jewelry style.
Okay.
And part of that has to do with just how the technology of the jewelry is advanced. And people have been more inventive about it.
Right. And you've moved further down the line from when that piercing was popular, and you have the results just like the ears.
Yeah.
So people can judge whether they want to get it or not by, well, a lot of times I see that piercing migrate, or end up scar, or can't be reverse as easy. So they've got that to judge against. So maybe it gets a little more particular, and people are better educated because the research is kind of there.
Well, there's access to the information a lot readily, more readily than there was. There was like one publication when I started piercing.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
And
BMI?
maybe it was
Flash or
Piercing Fans Quarterly International.
Yep.
And then the second one was Body Art, and then like Tattoo Savage would occasionally have piercing stuff in it, and some of the tattoo magazines. But for the most part, there was just not a lot of information.
No, at all.
And there was maybe 3-4 major studios.
If you wanted to see tattoos, same way about Rip magazine.
Yeah,
that's what
Metal magazine.
I literally
you said
bought
that earlier. Yeah.
The only reason I bought those magazines, not that I didn't like the music,
magazines.
Yeah.
I always liked Tattoo
like that.
International because they'd always have like a big history lesson.
They had the best. They had the best articles and the best well taken photographs and the way that was laid out and stuff.
And to even come close to buying a tattoo magazine back in the day, you had to go into an adult bookstore.
Yeah, and they were in 18 and up
where they
section.
sell rubber and plastic devices for bedroom things.
And the tattoo magazines were the 18 and up.
It was on that level, I guess. It just goes to show that tattooing was looked at as that kind of taboo. Yeah. We don't talk about it. We judge but don't. Just keep it out of our face.
Remember
and fine.
Used to keep it up like with the 18 and up, the black name on top of the magazine, so you couldn't even see the covers. It was up in those. You had to ask for it.
It was in part because it was distributed and published by Outlaw Biker.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was lumped into that same subculture.
And if you have a girl with her boobs showing and a tattoo or something, it was like, oh, it's showing nudity. Well, I don't give a crap about that. I'm looking at the tattoos.
But flagged for one of those.
But it was in there.
It was your tattoo of the week. And the nipples were covered with, they were real well covered.
Yeah, with
2 pieces of black plastic.
The lap cloth, yeah.
And we still got banged on it on every fucking platform. Yeah.
Why?
Nudity.
That's
there was
lame.
no nudity in it, though.
Google flagged us. YouTube took the
Haven't they
thumbnail
watched
down.
TV lately? You can't watch it. As long as you don't have a nipple, guys, you're okay.
What? Facebook.
That's
and that goes to show how things change. Just like what was the tattoo magazine lumped in with? Well, the biker stuff. Why is that bad? Well, I don't know.
Right.
But because it's associated with, it's got a black cover over it.
You got a 1% out there.
And now what makes you cool? If you got a motorcycle and you got a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah.
See, so it's really and why? Well, a bunch of reasons why, but a lot like the last episode we were talking about. It's it's the influence that it's had on the culture, that it is now a part of our culture, and unless someone finds a reason to demonize it and make people scared of it, it's not going to go anywhere ever.
Well,
I don't think
not cool people get tattooed and get bikes, and then
everybody wants to be cool.
Then it doesn't look cool anymore.
Right.
Then,
Well,
then everybody has it. Right.
Well, let's face
then
it.
you get your pop.
But those are the scrapers. Those are the people doing it for a benefit of some sort, not because I just need to. I love it. I don't care why anybody else does it.
Right.
You know, I do it because of my reasons, not these peripheral reasons. So, and I think tattooing touches enough people in the right way, wink, wink, that you're always going to have those people that will carry that to the next, and it's going to be really hard to stamp that out.
It will be.
And it's not like it's parachute pants.
No.
Exactly.
You know, it's not going to
They're still awesome, by the way.
You know, it's like it's not something that you're going to see. They're not going to have like a tattoo party 10 years from now where a bunch of people get fake tattoos and go to it as a joke. It's not going to be like, you know, an 80s party or any of that other nonsense.
It's not fringe. It's not. It's not. You know. It's not hair metal. It's not. You know. It's not a certain style. It is our culture.
And back to the motorcycles, what really kind of affected, especially Harley Davidson, because it had that reputation, was that idea that everybody that, and the reason when Outlaw Biker was considered is because they associated it all with gang activity and that type of lifestyle, which you and I both know 99 plus, probably more closer to everything like 99.99% of those people that ride Harley Davidson motorcycles and have like a biker style and go out and ride and enjoy motorcycles for what they're intended to do aren't associated in any way, shape, or form with a club.
That's why the outlaw clubs are all called 1% because they make up the 1%.
And it came from was on the American Motorcycle Association.
The American
came
Motorcycle
up with
Association.
And I think we've talked about this.
Well, like we were talking about the magazines. Now you can go to Barnes and Noble, and on the first floor, you walk in where the magazines are. Tattoo magazines are right there up front for everybody to grab.
I don't remember the last time I saw a magazine rack anywhere.
Go to Barnes and Noble. They have all those racks when you walk in.
That's dead technology.
You're gonna have to.
Whatever.
But I'd have to go to
some
the
kids. They used to cut down trees and make paper out of the trees, and they print these pictures on it called books.
Yeah, it wasn't just for wiping your butt, kid.
I saw a little video that it shows that younger kids, like, you know, early teens, think that the idea of having a single phone in the house that stays in the house is a revolutionary idea.
Yeah, hooked to the wall.
So you're old.
Yeah, I know I'm old.
You know,
see the video with a dude?
I'm talking to the mirror right there. You know, like, I mean, think about that. Like, they're going to be like, what if we just had horses? Like, pull these boxes and just wheels, and there's just poop and big deal. Yeah. I mean, that's green. You know, it's going to get to that point.
Well, you got to keep in mind that the first guy that introduced the wheel to the rest of civilization,
they were like,
there's a bunch of guys standing around going, oh, I don't know. That thing's going to go really fast. And, you know, if you go that fast, you're not going to be able to breathe.
We need rules.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
you're going to break your neck.
There's going to be that. And when you're talking about it, it's like I remember like talking to my grandmother who was born, I believe, in 1905 and died in the 90s. And, you know, talking about all the technology that changed during that period. I mean, she saw, you know, the invention of flight, the adaptation of motor vehicles.
Internal combustion.
The
movies.
The computer, movies,
telephones,
radio,
color,
telephone,
all kinds of stuff.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like I was always fascinated, like, wow, that must have been an incredible life. Then I look at mine now, and it's like, wow, you know,
like talk about you know, doubling up every freaking minute.
Yeah, man.
You know, now we have synthetic people and robots that can consume meat to power themselves.
That's crazy.
It's getting
good luck.
Just, you know, and
crazy.
And one of the things I never thought I would see. Well, two things. First off, when I was first getting tattooed back in the late 80s, is that it would be socially acceptable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
The other one is that punk rock would ever become a popular
classic rock
form of fucking music, and now it is classic rock.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's amazing how, you know, cool never changes.
No.
If you have that interest, and to me, what I've always thought, like, you know, whenever I said the term cool, it was something that I was drawn to.
Yeah.
It's not something somebody dictated to me.
No.
Yeah,
because usually I was like, no.
Didn't do it because it was cool. You did it, and it happened to be cool. Yeah.
I fell into it.
I saw a video the other day.
You found it.
Yeah.
That there's this dude, and he's like our age, and he's in the hotel room, and he's got kids, probably 10, 13 years old. And his daughter comes in, and he's like holding the phone receiver, and he goes, "Here, hang that phone up." And she stands there, and she's like, "There's no buttons. There's And like she does this for like a few minutes, and the dad's laughing hysterically, and the mom finally comes in and goes, "Good God!" Takes it out of her hand, and like hangs it up on a thing. But the kid has no idea how like a regular phone that's plugged into the wall works.
To it.
Right. You don't take it out of your pocket, and it doesn't turn on with your face. Like what is this
For
thing?
the same reason, if you handed me a harness and pointed to a
horse,
yeah, you'd be like, "What do I do?"
In a wagon and said, "Hitch him up."
Exactly.
I'd be like,
Which end does it go on?
And isn't it amazing to put that same mindset onto this young person that looks at something as simple and as well? I mean, you could hand a chimpanzee a phone and it would know to hang it up. But they are that disassociated as someone who lives in California would be, or at a big city. You hand them a harness and a saddle and go set that horse up.
Plow the field there.
They would have no clue.
Yeah.
But that's something that everyone in that time knew.
Yeah.
I mean, a child knew
Absolutely.
how to get put a saddle on a horse. So it's that quickly things change.
Really wild.
But tattoos don't change.
Not really. Just how we do them.
It touches enough people in the right spot, and there's enough deep. It touches enough people that deep to where I think even though it may be small like it once was, there will still be at least, and I don't even want to call it a subculture, there will still be a part of the main culture that are tattooed, whether they're even allowed to show them or not.
Right.
Yeah. We'll be doing this till we aren't.
The end of time.
Yeah.
The
We've
first
been doing it since
time
the beginning of people.
First time a human being fell on a stick that was in the fire that had some soot on it,
Left
and
a
after
mark.
it healed, it left a mark. It was off to the races,
Yeah.
pal.
Yeah, we're like music,
Yeah.
There's all kinds of genres, but it's still music.
Yeah,
and people
kill
enjoy
music.
it. Like you can't
do
it
like how long have they been trying to kill rock and roll?
Right.
since it started.
Yeah.
It always comes.
But there was
back.
music long before that,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain people that just have the need to show more than their voice or their body. The way it is given to them allows them.
Yeah.
And this is the next best megahorn. This is the
Yeah.
best we can do with our technology and what we're given with our bodies to show anybody else who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
What they feel and how they think.
I just lost on that one. Sorry. We got being demonetized.
Oh,
Fuck it.
They don't
Fuck
even,
your
they really
your
don't
shit.
even do that anymore.
I don't even.
It's more.
Yeah.
I heard
If
that
you-
if you say bunny rabbit, that makes up for every fuck that you say.
Well,
Bunny rabbit, bunny rabbit,
what,
bunny
what
rabbit,
comes
bunny
down to is
Okay, we're
if-
good.
it's how it's referenced.
Yeah. I
And
know.
if we were talking
Yeah,
about
smart ass.
even anything remotely sexually educational, then you get bumped.
That's
Get the
for the
bananas
teachers.
And, get the bananas and the condoms out. No, I'm just kidding.
or political.
Right.
That's like the two
Nope.
main ones, which
Far
we
from
never
that.
touch on the show.
We're
On
talking
try
about
not to.
things that are actually real and that matter, not fantasy bullshit.
Right.
You know.
Um, So yeah, I had a thought and then
And then here comes the government. No.
Son of a.
Yeah, it's art, it's emotion. You
Oh,
can't kill
yeah.
art or emotion. You can't. Not in true.
It's going to always live.
And when
people.
things become popular, it works when, in the good way.
Yeah.
There's kind of two directions it can go. It can go to the point where it becomes so distant in unlike its original form that it loses its meaning.
Right.
Yep.
When it's good, it just continues to get better because the more people that are involved, the more people are going to stand. The more people that stand around and go, "Why aren't we doing it like this?"
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
And that person might fail, and then someone else will go, "Hey, he failed at that, but what if he did that this way?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep expanding and growing and becoming better.
Yeah.
And tattooing and piercing have massively gained a lot of what we have today from that. Partly because there was more people to do it on.
Well, look what that does. The interest creates people who want to make money and who innovate. Go, hey, there's a lot of people who like that.
Yep.
What can we do? What can we do?
We gotta be
Man,
part of that.
Look what they're using to draw those pictures on there. I mean, there's got to be a better way. And so that puts interest and focus on it because of popularity, which means there's money to be made. Well, and that's just what it takes. Innovation takes money, and the only thing that you're going to put money into is something that you can get money out of.
Right.
Yeah.
So because tattooing was starting to creep in and become more accepted and shown on basketball players and baseball players and football players, especially back in the day, that started, well, that's my hero and he's tattooed, so it's cool. Look,
Right.
I'm like that guy that's a hero.
Exactly, yeah.
So, as that happened and it comes, it just evolves and becomes, it opens itself up and creeps in that way.
And a lot of time it's not imitation. It's more of, hey,
Innovation.
I've always had this desire to get that done. And now somebody that I respect and that half the planet respects has it.
Yeah.
Then it's okay for me to do it.
Well, 20 years ago, I got asked, you're tattooing somebody and, robots or something, innovation would happen and the conversation would start, oh, someday, do you think a robot's going to take your job? And 20-some years ago, I'm like, there has to be money to be made. And the people that have the money and the knowledge to create such a machine to take my job don't give a fuck about what I do.
Yeah.
And don't see an interest or money to be made. So why are they going to put focus? Well, 25 years later, okay, now what if I could create a machine, not have to hire this asshole, and the people could stick their arm in it and biggity bam, Sam, you're in and out, and it looks dope like everybody else.
Yeah.
Now there's that interest, and you're seeing a lot more innovation, a lot more money, a lot more, it's advancing faster, faster, faster. It's just like when computers proved what they could do. Holy shit, boom!
Yeah.
Every cent in the world went to developing that because look at what we get. So tattoos were starting to prove themselves as hey, a lot of people want these, and hey, that means there's a lot of people doing them. So hey, we can afford to put some money into this thing and make it so much better than that guy.
Right.
And plus, there's a lot of cross application with devices,
Medical.
being medical.
Yes.
Implantation.
I think we're going to see a lot in that direction.
With all
over the next
popularity
15
comes a lot
years.
of progress. A lot of developing things further. Like we used to draw on paper and pencils.
I haven't drawn on paper
Now we're drawing on
over 5
iPads
years.
and Procreate and
Easily.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like
Probably
it really
10 years.
progresses. It causes progression.
That's
in
what I'm
your-
saying.
Yeah.
And it
It's really
improved
great.
what you can do and in the time
Absolutely.
you can do it.
It's one of the positives popularity has on something.
Yeah.
Something that would have taken you 15, 20 hours to do, and you
Right.
can just instantly screw up and
And
start all
Well,
over
they come in and they
again.
go, "Can you make this eye wink on that mermaid on the rock?" And you're like,
and what that shows you as an individual and as a person, you get what you want.
right.
Because the people that make everything that you see and touch and feel and affects your life are reacting to what you want and what
Exactly.
you allow.
Yeah.
So tell people what you want by saying or not buying or buying. And,
Yeah.
you don't have to take what you're given.
No.
Yeah.
The people as a voice dictate what is available.
Yeah.
I
what you
believe
want.
that one of the most driving forces of Amazon has nothing to do with convenience or anything else. It has to do with if I went to a store that had that particular product, in most cases, I would have one choice.
Yeah.
But I'd go on Amazon and I'd have
You got 100.
15 different choices from really great to terrible
Yep.
to decide from. And prices vary the same
Absolutely.
way.
And
that-
reviews.
and yes, and reviews and some background, because that's one of the problems I always had. We used to have this joke is like available everywhere but Des Moines. That was like an ongoing thing with me and a
You're a
friend.
geographical oddity.
Yeah, it's or you can have anything you want as long as it's off the rack. It's this attitude of just you'd go shopping and just be like, well, it's Des Moines. We don't have to spend a lot of money in this market.
2 weeks from
Yep.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And then with the internet and with things like Amazon and various other online shopping, it opened up this broader range
Yeah.
of ideas and things that you could get. Tattooing, same exact thing.
Right.
Piercing, exact same thing. It's not you got to have that flash off the wall, or any of these 15 design or 50,000 designs.
And
Or you get, if you're going to get your tongue done or your lip done, you have to have this thing and this thing.
once you
That's your choice.
and once you show that a product or an industry is something that is wanted, you have to take the good with the bad because you're going to get attention from all
Yeah.
types. You're going to turn on other people's passion that they didn't know they had, and they will become the strongest ally that you could want. And you're going to have the people that go, "Hey, what how can I get in there?
How can I screw all these people?
And get what I can while it's hot, while I'm looking for the next thing.
And you always got the other person who's like,
It's
well, all these
always
people like this. It must be bad. We gotta
It's a
ban it.
product. You eat the best dinner ever, it still comes out your ass as shit.
Yeah.
Or one of my-
It's gonna be shit. There's always gonna be shit. So yeah, eat the dinner, enjoy it, but realize for that dinner to be eaten,
later.
there has to be shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're never going to have one without the other. There's always going to be a hater. Save everyone's life, cure the cancer, do whatever you want. There's going to be someone that hates it just to hate it.
Well, there has to be a black and a white. It has
Exactly.
To equal that. It always
So,
does.
but the positive, the focus, that's what wins.
Yes.
It
You're always
does.
going to have the other side.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, it's like one of my favorite sayings is a quote from a Naked
That's why
Reagan
you have
song.
to force the people that don't away, because that's inevitable.
Right.
You have to have the dissenters.
Yeah.
You have to have the negative or the positive, whichever it may be. So that's why you have to physically remove it, because if things are, because you can't force that. You can't force 100% agreeing with anything. I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it's like one of my favorite quotes from a Naked Reagan song. It's that the first rat off the ship is the one that's too hip. And that's usually the smartest guy in the room types.
And
that will
responsible
come
for the
in
ship going under.
Yeah.
that have wrecked everything are going to be the first ones to go, this is stupid.
Well, they're the first ones that are looking out for it, because they know that drilling holes in this boat, it's going to sink eventually.
Yep.
So they're tuned in and know. That's why they're the first one out.
Oh, yeah. Every single time.
Yep.
You know, it's like how
ship.
many times have we seen like the CEO of a major corporation that's about ready to fold has already sold off all their stock and everything else.
But the person that believes in it, the sole believer, and like the guy that's just loyal
The
to
guy
the
that's
bone,
bet
he's sinking with the
everything.
ship.
Playing
you
the
know?
violin.
I can save it.
Because he's sold, because
Right.
he's sold on the fantasy that
He's
he needs to be
invested.
sold on to behave in the way that benefits the guy that's telling
Right.
him how to
Exactly.
behave. So
Yeah, he's invested in that
so he's
idea,
going down
you
with
know?
the ship while his boss is sitting behind, is 2 weeks
He's
ahead of this
drinking
guy, and that's
pina
why he sold
coladas
his
and
stocks 3 days before the fucking place sank.
Yep.
But boy, so you understand what we're saying?
You take the round one, you put it in the square one, and you get a
You hit it with a bigger hammer.
Yes, and cars are bad. I don't know.
How'd that
So-
go?
I do think that there's going to be some future applications, and it's interesting that the medical industry. I keep seeing little things about tattooing and piercing, partly because it kind of, especially piercing, it's kind of always kind of melted together. Those guys have been doing piercings for years and didn't know it. Various different implants. And various other
so
things.
true.
So they've already been doing all this body modification for a long time. They just need to find an application that works.
Surprise.
And that's most of the time how that innovation happens. They create a product and looked for an application.
Yep.
I think the biggest problem with the automated tattooing thing is I always envision it as being this thing that's in next to the smash the penny
Yeah, the sticker machines.
Yeah.
is the liability insurance that's going to be involved with
photo booth,
operating one of those things, because it's going to be like they're going to put them everywhere. Somebody's going to sue the company that makes it, and that'll
But-
be the end of
always.
it.
But all that takes is a sticker on the machine.
Yep,
Yeah,
use
I
it on
know.
risk.
Done.
I mean, we know
know?
what happens when you piss off a tattoo artist. What if it's a AI tattoo artist? I don't know. Have you seen some of the art the AI's created?
I'm doing this with a laser. I'm going to now cut your arm off.
Pretty messed up.
And what's the retro?
the AI stuff is kind of it's an interesting thing right now, because they've released all these things they're saying, oh, you're going to be replaced, that you can make
Yeah,
them-
because it hates us.
like college students are using it to do the reports.
Yeah, because they can't think for themselves. Art students are using it to paint their art and stuff because they can't do it. Yeah, super awesome.
But see, the
mean-
problem is they're still it's so narrow as far as what they're allowed to do that I don't think
It's
ever
almost
gonna
like
become
you
yours.
don't even need people.
Right. Weird.
That's weird,
I think something's been saying that for years. AI.
right? Boy, they
Kill
just
all humans.
eat and poop and make waste and trouble,
And war.
and they're really
They
hard to
destroy
take
stuff.
care of. But
Well,
these bots,
Get rid of these bed bugs.
Somebody's still got to shovel the coal. into
yeah, the
power
bots,
plant.
For now.
the bots,
For now,
they can do brain surgery. I think
Yeah.
they can handle shoveling coal.
they can make water flow over a fucking hill and generate electricity. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
They
sure.
can eat human meat and sustain themselves,
I think
and
they got the idea.
so I think they're good.
The problem is
And they're smart smarter than you, so they, we don't need artists or innovators or scientists or anything anymore. You just ask the AI.
They haven't made a punk rock robot yet, so you're still safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way a robot could ever write a
like
punk rock song.
We were talking about earlier about the whole, like, all science fiction is just self-predicting.
Yeah,
right.
That regardless of what we put in, what somebody writes, eventually humanity will get to that point.
Yeah.
And there's the cyberpunk thing's like a huge movement.
Cyberpunk.
And science
There'll never be a
over the last
robotic
30 years.
emo either, because they'll just keep killing themselves off.
Yeah.
No, just shut down and reboot.
I'm going to shut down now. I'm so sad.
Yeah, if people just...
That would be an
make
interesting
emo
show.
grass. You can just go out and scream at your lawn and it would cut itself. Like,
If people understood that something that makes them happy or sad doesn't make other people happy or sad,
F your
and just
feelings.
let people find their happy and find your own,
Yeah.
that... Jesus, show me a problem. I just solved it.
Spend your efforts into your happiness and leave my happiness.
Yeah, don't be concerned about anyone else's happiness unless it's infringing on your own. And if it is,
that's where the problem arises.
yeah, but
But it
but
doesn't
then
infringe
that's
most of the
the only, anyway, that's a big conversation.
Well, and
but
there's people in this world that just never will be happy.
of course, for the sake of
Because
not
being
being happy
happy.
Yep.
or being different. Like I said, you're always going to have
Always back to the beginning.
the other side. You're going to have,
Yeah,
you have to.
Those people that say, I can't
Or you
live,
have to force
I can't be happy in a world that this exists. And it's like, well
that's
Then
your
leave.
problem.
that thing that exists
That's your problem, dude.
really has no reference on your life whatsoever.
None at all.
You're making it.
Yeah, you're making it a point of it.
Yeah.
The only
So-
person that makes it a problem in your life is you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
take swords for
So
1,000.
just don't.
That's
you
Which
know?
makes it win.
That's
Yes,
it.
It's
exactly.
controlling you.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does.
You let it bug you.
The only
All
reason you
right.
make a decision is because of emotion.
Yes.
And if
Fuck
you're
your
an idiot,
feelings. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's why logic counts. Anyway,
go Spock.
So I think we've ran the
yeah, we really
we ran around that circle bush
spectrumed
again.
the shit out of it. I wonder what's on all of our minds.
I don't know. A lot
Hell of
of
a marathon.
stuff.
It's hard to tell.
Bunny.
It's Iowa.
You need a Snickers.
We're all waiting for the winter to end.
Yeah, go away, snow.
Yeah. Well, so you're probably going to, it should be by the time this thing airs.
Hopefully, I'll be riding my motorcycle.
Hopefully it'll be over 40 degrees.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Ugh. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it, unless anybody's got anything else to add. So we come to the conclusion that tattooing is cool. Piercings
Absolutely.
are cool. They'll always be cool. But if you get a certain type of tattoo or certain piercing, that may not be cool.
That can go out in and out of style.
Yeah, in and out.
But overall, piercings, tattoos,
Yep.
they're not going anywhere.
So if you want to be cool, come see us.
Oh, and one final, I could say one thing is like, if you get a tattoo that is definitely from that time period, yes, it will go out of vogue.
Yeah, there's fashion in
You mean like
tattoos, just
90s
like
tribal?
anything. Yeah, yeah,
90s tribal?
exactly.
I know.
Yeah, armbands.
Bob wire armbands.
Yeah.
Though I've noticed
We're gonna
they're
bring 'em
starting
back.
to come back.
But
We're gonna bring
Because
'em back.
I've had 3 people ask me about them in the last like 2 weeks.
Things like that should be a badge of honor, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But that's a cool thing about.
absolutely.
I'm not
that's
a
a cool
Johnny
thing
come
about
lately, bro.
styles.
I got a Taz. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Taz.
And
Yeah.
don't sweat it. If you get something
And
that's
we've
not
actually
cool,
had an episode where it was like, what tattoo and piercing
Yeah.
trends would you like to see come back?
if you get something that's not cool now, don't worry. Just wait a little while. It'll come back around and be cool again. Just
Yep.
like mullets and everything else.
But you should be cautious on certain things.
You
Because,
should, but I mean, you know,
Hey.
if you like it, get it.
cool is an opinion, and it only matters if you think being cool matters.
Yeah.
The
If you
coolest
think it's
people
cool, it's
in
all
the
that matters.
world don't give a fuck what's cool.
No,
Right.
because
So do you, man,
I
and
just
don't
worry
give a
about what's
fuck
cool to
what other
me.
people say about it. Who cares?
Yeah, I get it.
Who cares?
I'm just saying, you
I'm
know,
saying
like-
that's not the reality, but if more,
That's how I am.
if you know, if there would be no style if
Right.
more people just didn't care what other
Yeah.
people thought that they didn't know.
right.
If it's cool to you, that's all that matters, man.
So
Yeah,
that's
you
why
know.
you better care what the other person thinks of
Kinda-
you.
it's kinda
so
like-
you buy my shirt.
You know,
Like this one here that's available on our web store.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah.
Link
Anyway.
down below.
no, it's a band.
Haha, loser.
Of course.
Really good cowpunk band from.
Whatever. You went to the Cro-Mags.
3-chord band, we get it.
Yeah, the Chromags were pretty good.
Punk, punk, punk.
Wrap it up. I got beer to drink.
Okay. Till next time.
Ah, he
Lemons and
doesn't. He
limes.
drank them all.
I need some iced tea.
Yeah. More bourbon and
puckering.
tea, please.
Ever since I quit smoking, it's harder for me not to cough on mic and yeah.
Okay. Are you done with your excuses?
Yeah. I'm done
Okay,
with
wrap
my
it up.
Excuses.
Just say no.
Till next time. Here's hoping that your tattoos and piercings heal with ease in about a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we'd all love to see if your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future Have a good day, everybody. Take care, and thank you for watching.
Be good, guys.